So to start, I would like for all of you to close your eyes and imagine this. You're going about on a regular day, doing something normal, any part of your everyday life. Visualize yourself doing this. Now, imagine something happens that worries you, turning that regular thing you're doing into a high-stress situation. You don't know how to handle it, and your mind is clouded with tension. Suddenly, your ears start to ring, your hands get clammy, and all you hear, no matter who's talking to you, is your heart thumping. Your vision gets blurry, and there's a rising pressure in your chest. So you get desperate and try to gasp for air. But the more you try to grasp it, the harder it gets to breathe. By this point, you're shaking, trying not to cry, while horrible thoughts circle in your head, and all you want to do is crawl in a hole and scream, because you feel like there's so much built up inside of you that you desperately need to let out. You can open your eyes now. This I've just described to you is what is often referred to as a panic attack. Think of it as a sort of cloud that gets fuller and fuller until it gets too much and starts pouring down on you, leaving you to deal with every emotion you've been trying to suppress. This suppression of feelings, often of preoccupation, is called anxiety. Anxiety is something I've been dealing with since I was very young and didn't know how to control or avoid for a while. And actually, it's something many of us will come face to face with throughout our lives. According to Susan Heidler, a clinical psychologist and graduate of Harvard, 1 in every 4, or 25% of all people, deals with some sort of anxiety disorder throughout their lives. Stress and anxiety come in different ways and from different things. Workload, invasive thoughts, nerves, and many other things are all factors. When dealing with this, you feel normal, everyday things as pressure, like something is constantly suffocating you, until you stop being productive because you're too busy worrying. It's a very uncomfortable feeling, and the only solution I've found to it, and believe me, I've tried everything, is finding an escape or a distraction, something that helps you put everything aside and focusing on finding peace. To me, my escape has always been stories. Books are a huge part of me because they allow me to detach from whatever it is I'm feeling or going through and dive into a new world. It's relaxing to leave a situation up to the characters of a narrative and just be an observer in someone else's world. It takes the pressure off. More so, reading puts things into perspective. When you take a step back and look at things from a more tranquil state of mind, you'll realize they're not really as suffocating as you first perceive them. I know what you're thinking, that reading may be sort of an odd solution to dealing with a hard situation. But actually, it has proven to be extremely effective, not just for me, but for many people. In a study called Galaxy Stress Research, done by Sussex University, results show that to release stress, reading works like a charm. It is 68% more effective than listening to music, 100% more effective than drinking tea, 300% more effective than taking a walk, and 600% better than playing video games. Now that I've told you all about how efficient reading can be, you may be wondering, then why wouldn't people read? The hard truth is, not many people do. When I asked around in my class, only 4 of my classmates told me that they like to read for fun. What I thought was, well, there must be a valid reason why so many people have such a problem with reading. But then, when I asked around and heard the excuses, I realized this is just what they were, excuses. Many of my classmates argued that reading is boring, or that it's a waste of time. This worried me because, really, reading can only be boring if you don't give it a chance to interest you. There are so many options, millions of options of things you can read. You just have to give yourself a chance to find something that is right for you. Getting interested in reading is not a hard thing to do. To start, you should look at all your possibilities, because different genres appeal to different readers. I recommend that to start, you see something like dystopian novels, for example, such as The Maze Runner or Hunger Games. These show a disturbing sense of the world that is very appealing to teenagers and teaches them about current world situations. If the idea of many words is scary to you, you may go for a graphic novel. These are just right for people who like arts. Another recommendation of mine is that if you're trying to get interested in reading, you start off with something easy. There's no competition to read the hardest thing. Actually, even though I now have the ability to read very complex literature, children's literature is still my favorite. Books I read as a kid taught me lessons I still apply today. I like to say that in a way, reading raised me, because it taught me things and shaped me into the person that I am today. A good example of a book that shaped me was Esperanza Rising by Pam Muñoz Ryan. This is a book about a girl in a Mexican Revolution, and it taught me a lot about willpower and working hard. Another book that shaped me was Walk to Moons by Sharon Creech. This book had such an impact in my life that I can actually still quote parts of it from my memory. So much so that I even decided to hang my favorite quote from the book in my house as decoration, as you can see here. These kinds of books, the ones that leave a mark on you and change your life, these are the kinds of books you should search for when you read. I can assure you that if you read one of these or any other book that interests you, it will give you the escape you need. Immersing yourself into a world that is so intriguing to you, this will change your life. It has surely changed mine. Now, I want you all to close your eyes again, and now imagine this. You're in a high-stress situation, but your mind is not clouded with tension as it might have been before. Instead, thanks to your new habit of reading, you're able to deal with situations with logic without panicking. You're not drowning in a million thoughts inside your head, but instead you hover above them. You have found a solution to anxiety. You have found a love for reading. Thank you.